Right. I have every reason to believe that we are actually live, although it has fooled me before. Brian and Stefan, can you just quickly say hello so I can get confirmation as usual that the audio is okay?
Yep. Hello. Hi, Brian here. Steph?
Hello. Hello, Stefan here.
Stefan's messing with me and just staying quiet.
All the way from East Dulwich.
All the way from East Dulwich.
East Dulwich and Doncaster.
East London, South East London.
So can somebody in the chat just confirm that that's all coming through? And then we will launch into things properly.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a thumbs up.
Where?
We got a thumbs up. Audio sounds good from here.
I'm not seeing.
But don't know about YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for confirmation from the YouTube side of things. Nothing, nobody's confirming as yet. Oh, we've got a yes, so I presume the yes is relating to the audio. Okay, good. Right, let's start. I will try to minimise my waffle, which is prodigious. So I'm Brian Waters, and I run the QTube, which is a resource for principally film composers, but also sound designers, and also we are involved in film production and lots of other good stuff. And every month we release an unscored film into our library for composers, and those are free for members. And we give, you can access those at any time, but for the first month that it's available, we run this kind of opportunity to submit your score and have it reviewed by the esteemed gentlemen that are with me today, who we'll introduce shortly, and also win a string quartet session with Northern Film Orchestra, although your score certainly doesn't have to be orchestral. And what else? Oh yeah, we have a giveaway from Fracture Sounds, very generously. A sample library company allow us to do. They provide a giveaway every month, and I was lucky enough to meet them in person in Manchester the other day, so that was nice. So today we are reviewing submissions for a insect-based documentary that we provided a month or so ago, and we had some wonderful submissions. But before we go into that, I'll just introduce our two experts, and we've got a wonderful host of faces there from our community that we invited to join us, so that's lovely to see. So keep smiling, everyone. Look like you're enjoying yourselves. And Brian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Brian Morrell. I work at Leeds Conservatoire, which is in the north of England, where I wrote the film scoring degree that we run. I'm also a lecturer on it, teach composition and orchestration and stuff like that. Principal lecturer there, and I've also written quite a few books on film music at Leeds Conservatoire, which is in the north.
Yeah, I'm Stefan Gordon. I'm a principal lecturer at Leeds Conservatoire. I work with Brian on the film music degree. I teach film studies. I do some film composition and also music production as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is a regular thing that we do, and it will persist on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to view it retrospectively. And accompanying these monthly challenges, we also do a masterclass. We provide a cheat sheet to summarise the main points from the masterclass. So it's a whole bunch of stuff that we do around each new film. But I just want to remind everyone that there's 40 plus films in the library to choose from as well, and we're trying to mix up the genres all the time to give you as much opportunity to practice with different genres and get those into your portfolio and so on. But this one was a fun one. It was an insect documentary, and Brian and Stefan, I think you had some general observations first, didn't you, about sort of good level, good standard. And
I think out of all the ones that I've been a part of, which is maybe 10 or so by now, this was, I think, the most consistently good standard. There's some really, really good work. People that had really gone over and above in terms of how they use textures and colour and harmony, and also how they articulate what their intentions are. Because when you're submitting your work, most of you are submitting a little paragraph about what you do and why you did it, and that was really helpful for us because we can look at that and we can see, we can use that as a kind of guide to see to what degree you've achieved that. And the standard was extremely high this time, very high.
Yeah, same point for me really. I thought out of the batch that we've been involved in, this was definitely the strongest. It was there was a lot of really high quality work. I think interesting as well because the piece is led by a voiceover, so there's that to take into account, and people just, I think, provided a really, I think it was the thing of the insects and the kind of wildlife nature vibe, how they sort of a real positive element to it, and I thought that was really matched in how uplifting some of the music submissions were. So yeah, absolutely, it was well done to everyone really.
Okay, lovely. So we've chosen 6 to go through this evening. Stefan, do you want to cue up the first one?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's. We're going to start with Kate O'Hanlon.
Oh, she's with us, I think.
I can see Kate's here as well.
Oh yeah,
oh,
nice.
So I'll share this. Let me know if there's any problems with the streaming of this. We should be good to go.
In the heart of the world's most vibrant ecosystems lies a world often overlooked, but no less extraordinary. The insect kingdom. A realm of astonishing diversity. From the beauty of the dragonflies, ancient predators of the sky, their agile flight and keen vision make them formidable hunters, to the relentless determination of ants, masters of teamwork and engineering, each playing a vital role in the survival of their colony. Transformation is a constant theme in the insect world. The caterpillar, a voracious eater, undergoes a miraculous metamorphosis, emerging as a beautiful butterfly. Insects pollinate our crops, decompose organic matter, and form the base of countless food chains. Yet these intricate lives are under threat. Honeybees, crucial for pollination, face dangers from pesticides that disrupt their ability to navigate and survive. So next time you step into nature, appreciate the hidden wonders of the insect kingdom. In their tiny forms lies the greatness of nature's design. This is the world of insects, a marvel of nature's ingenuity and an essential part of the Earth's biodiversity.
Okay, great. So I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I really did think it was great, and also just to start off, the way that the composer actually articulated what they were going to do to start with was really interesting. It showed a great awareness of music and a great awareness of how to create emotion in music. I think your description of your own music is really clear and well articulated, and that is great in this industry, because when you're working with directors, it's really important to be able to know what you're doing and also be able to talk about it. Showed a real awareness of music and emotion. One of the secrets to being a good film composer, I think, is to truly understand how you manipulate music to create emotion, and that is the most important thing. You can be the best composer in the world, but if people don't know how to basically capture the film and capture the essence of what it's saying, then it's difficult. But this was great. You realise that you're not writing for music's sake. This was not ego-driven music. This was basically emotion speaking as music. Emotional layer to bring the story from being a two-dimensional image to a kind of three-dimensional emotional experience, if you like. The music to me felt like it was born with the film. It felt like it basically came into being at the same time as the film. It didn't feel like this was something that was done to the film. It feels like the two were just together all the time. Absolutely fantastic. It feels like one experience. Some really nice textures, really nice flutes, really good woodwind writing in general. Woodwind's not the easiest thing to write for, especially using samples. Nice use of plucked strings, and the arranging and orchestration generally is really good. There's also a nice dynamic between the different orchestral sections, and they're all well balanced, and it's dubbed very well to the picture. A nice bunch of chords. You've got this lovely little chord trick where you use, which me and Steph have often called this the sci-fi chord change, simply because it actually creates a lot of mystery, where you go from the D minor, and I think you do this thing where you go and it's just really lovely, almost bordering on Thomas Newman, just really lovely use of chords. And even I did notice, I don't know whether this is deliberate, but when the bumblebee comes into sonic focus, the bumblebee is bumbling in F. There's an F note, and that actually fits in with the chords as well. So if that was deliberate, that is genius. Anyway, yeah, that's, I mean, just an absolutely great piece of writing. Very well done. That's me, Steph.
Yeah, I think Brian's covered most of what I was going to say. I thought it was great as well. It felt like it belonged there. It was one of those cases where, and we often say this, is that if you're watching the clip and enjoying it, it means it's working as it should. It felt very natural right from the get-go. Actually, that was the thing of it. And I sort of put into the notes what you said, what Kate said about my objective was to highlight the diversity of the insect kingdom with varied instrumentation and to aim to support the story. You did exactly that. So your vision for it at the start came across in the music very well. I think it had a really light, positive touch to it. It was really uplifting, and that's what it needed to sort of match the imagery and the busyness of the insects. I thought the production was particularly good, and that fitted in with the point I made at the start, which is how believable it was. I think because it was crafted really well in terms of choice of instrumentation. So it's difficult sometimes, in terms of producing a sample. So I thought that was done particularly well. And on the production point, when listening to it in headphones on my own, I was like, I noticed that the bass instruments were used really effectively. So the bottom end to it, so there was lower register stuff was executed with a lot of precision. So the bottom end to it was particularly well done. I think my only, and it's not to be sort of negative, but just to point some stuff out, I thought on occasion, and it was only on occasion, towards the latter part, sometimes the music surrounded the voice a little bit, and you just have to be mindful. And this is the problem. As soon as a director chooses to use a voiceover, you've got to go with that, and that's what takes priority. And you did it most of the time. There's a couple of times, and it probably could have just been can be fixed by lowering it or sort of doing more automation round the voiceover. But very, a really strong piece, and really enjoyed watching it. I don't know if you wanted to respond to any of that, Kate. I mean, it's fine if you don't.
Hi, just to say thank you very much for all your feedback. Really useful and much appreciated.
Do you want to?
Yeah, no.
Is there anything you can share with us about your experience of scoring that particular clip? How did you approach it? How did you find it? Put you on the spot. Sure. Put you on the spot.
I mean, I really enjoyed doing it. I think it was great fun, and I had lots of opportunities to use lots of different colours and things. Yeah.
Have you approached anything like this, documentary style stuff, before?
No.
Okay.
Wow, that's, to do that as a first piece, doing this, I thought it was very, very impressive. So very well done.
Thank you.
Great. Lovely. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Likewise.
Excellent.
Next one then, Steph.
Okay. So next we have Carlo Navaria.
Okay.
Up next. Let's run that. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, he's with us as well, actually.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Right, here we go.
In the heart of the world's most vibrant ecosystems lies a world often overlooked, but no less extraordinary. The insect kingdom. A realm of astonishing diversity. From the beauty of the dragonflies, ancient predators of the sky, their agile flight and keen vision make them formidable hunters, to the relentless determination of ants, masters of teamwork and engineering, each playing a vital role in the survival of their colony. Transformation is a constant theme in the insect world. The caterpillar, a voracious eater, undergoes a miraculous metamorphosis, emerging as a beautiful butterfly. Insects pollinate our crops, decompose organic matter, and form the base of countless food chains. Yet these intricate lives are under threat. Honeybees, crucial for pollination, face dangers from pesticides that disrupt their ability to navigate and survive. So next time you step into nature, appreciate the hidden wonders of the insect kingdom. In their tiny forms lies the greatness of nature's design. This is the world of insects, a marvel of nature's ingenuity and an essential part of the Earth's biodiversity.
Great. Again, just some really, really good work there. Again, in your own notes, you've put, this is Carlo, you've put the intention was to use the instrumentation to find the sound of nature and insects. And I think it's when you start thinking about it like that, that you do get to the truth of what the music should be. If you start to think about nature and the pictures and the colours in the film, and you try and replicate that musically, very good. You created a sound which actually accompanied the narration really well. It's very difficult, this one. I mean, generally speaking, nature documentaries usually aren't particularly demanding, but this one is, because the narrator basically is talking nearly all the time, and he's got this kind of typical BBC kind of like very low home counties kind of like speech, and it's very difficult to write around the back of that, and I think you did really well. Just a really lovely use of different chords that seem to gel into each other. So I put the music is well crafted around the almost constant dialogue. Like I said, it's not very easy to do that. Music is emotionally effective, and that's the key thing with this. If it's great music, that's great and everything, but it needs to be emotionally effective, and that's what's happened here. This is real skill, I think, which is almost separate from composing music, being actually aware of how the music will exist emotionally. The music sits well in the mix as well. There's a few bits that are a little bit full of notes and big grand chords. Once or twice it was a little bit overwhelming, but most of it was just spot on. the emotional colours you get from the use of textures and the woodwind and the strings is really beautiful, and it does bring real atmosphere to this clip. And like the last one, it just felt like it was made when the film was made. So again, very, very well done. Over to you, Steph.
Yeah, similar points. I really liked this, actually. I liked it a lot, and what I liked about it was the respect you showed to the film. That was my thing. I thought you were really respectful of the film itself, particularly the voiceover. So similar to what I said with Kate's, is that, you know, a director goes, right, it's going to be led by a voiceover, and Brian pointed this out, and it's there for the majority of the clip, really. So, and you made that work. So the space and sort of minimalism of most of it, particularly the early section, the film had a bed, you know, to work in, and that was your music. And you sort of written that in your notes about, you know, I think you put the intention was to use instruments to find the sound of nature and insects, aiming to emphasize the wonder of the video's imagery. You brought the imagery to life with this piece. Similar to what Brian said about where it might have got slightly carried away, and was in terms of the punctuation, and you can hear it in the voiceover, as it's drawing to a close, the whole narration part, you were bringing your music to a close with it, and that was the bit where I thought you were potentially overcrowding it slightly. I think maybe to let the voiceover take a bit more priority and pull your music back a little bit. So that was the only thing for me. But I am on that point. But one of the points, so you're as a composer, you're sort of waiting for those moments where there is either no voiceover or there is no dialogue, and you can go through it. So after that, I felt like the end section, perhaps maybe a bit more musical sort of thematic content could have come into play a little bit. I mean, it's only a minor point and it's only my view, but in general, some really lovely writing that I've written down, particularly sort of piano writing. So I just thought it was a really great example of how to do documentary film music, actually. And that was right from the get-go. So to me, you know, a really, really great piece. So well done.
Excellent. Carlo, I'm not sure whether you want to respond or anything.
Hi.
Carlo's there. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback. I have some problem with my camera, but I listen everything. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was the first time with this type of music with documentary, so I try to put my ideas of music, and I try orchestration and this type of music in this piece. Was a great video. Yeah.
Oh well, great. If that's you, again, similar to Kate, you know, if that's your first time doing this, some lovely work. I thought, as a documentary film music piece, I thought it worked particularly well. So well done.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thanks, Carlo. Well done. Brilliant.
So,
Stefan,
we have Raymond Shaw. If I'm not mistaken.
Raymond Shaw. Right, Raymond's not with us, I don't think. Is he? No, I don't think so.
Okay. You can see it and hear this. Right, here we go.
In the heart of the world's most vibrant ecosystems lies a world often overlooked, but no less extraordinary. The insect kingdom. A realm of astonishing diversity. From the beauty of the dragonflies, ancient predators of the sky, their agile flight and keen vision make them formidable hunters, to the relentless determination of ants, masters of teamwork and engineering, each playing a vital role in the survival of their colony. Transformation is a constant theme in the insect world. The caterpillar, a voracious eater, undergoes a miraculous metamorphosis, emerging as a beautiful butterfly. Insects pollinate our crops, decompose organic matter, and form the base of countless food chains. Yet these intricate lives are under threat. Honeybees, crucial for pollination, face dangers from pesticides that disrupt their ability to navigate and survive. So next time you step into nature, appreciate the hidden wonders of the insect kingdom. In their tiny forms lies the greatness of nature's design. This is the world of insects, a marvel of nature's ingenuity and an essential part of the Earth's biodiversity.
Great. So this was another really spellbinding piece. Again, Raymond said that he tried to adhere to the advice of the masterclass, which was interesting. Main purpose of the music was to provide an atmospheric attachment, and again, Raymond has done that in spade loads really well. He also said that he didn't want to detract from the narration, and I think most of the time he actually achieved that. There's some really nice chords. I think it starts off with this kind of like these lovely kind of like major 7 chords going from, I think, C major 7 to F major 7 or something like that. And I think the use of strings and woodwind is just first class. I've put here that initially the strings build really well, and they open up and they bring the woodwinds in afterwards, which is really good because you very rarely do you start with everything. Around the 1 minute mark, there is, I think it's about 1 minute, when the narrator talks about the emerging of a beautiful butterfly. Raymond scores this with a woodwind flourish and this build-up of chords, which is definitely impressionistic. It definitely reminded me a little bit of Debussy, to be honest with you. There was a bit that was just pure kind of early 20th century impressionist music, just absolutely gorgeous. And generally some really good use of textures and harmonies from a composer who clearly understands how to extract emotion from music. Music is produced well as well. It sits, for the most part, sits well under the narrator. Maybe at the very end it was a little bit maybe too big at the end. When you're writing the samples and you're trying to create this huge orchestra, it can be quite challenging. But I mean, the ending musically was fabulous. It was a little bit difficult with the narrator before that. Beautifully crafted score that captures the essence of what the film is really about, which I think is a celebration of life. And this music basically said that right the way through. This is a celebration of life. And I've put finally that you show an understanding not just of music, but of curating exactly the right balance of emotion, maximizing what music offers us, and supporting the film in a really great way and enhancing its storytelling. And that bit of Debussy around the 1 minute mark was just absolutely inspired. Very difficult composer to pull off, very difficult. Okay, so very well done, Raymond. Excellent. Over to you, Steph.
Yeah, similar points. I noted down exactly the same bits. Actually, I thought it was just really accomplished. Actually, I thought the some of the punctuation I thought was great, in the way that you sort of brought to life the insects moving and the busyness of them and all that stuff. And there was a real sort of match in the way that you brought that playfulness to the imagery via the music. And I'd noted down a lot of what you put, what Raymond had put in his notes, and that and so again there was a real vision right from the get-go with this, and because it put down about the metamorphosis of the butterfly scene where it becomes emotionally attached in Raymond's words about, and I think that was the thing. I think the emotion of the imagery was really brought to life by some of the very well crafted music and the sort of orchestral piece to it. A really light touch to it, really well executed, showed real skill as a composer but also as a storyteller. I think that was the other thing, as a documentary storyteller as well. And it's not, I think it's probably, it looks easier than it actually is, and you made it seem that way. So I thought this was great. Same as what Brian said, which I noted down, was that I was alerted to it because Raymond had put it in his notes about sort of once the narration had stopped that you were going to increase the intensity. I think you just went a little bit too far in the intensity of it. The idea was there, but as Brian pointed out, it sort of became quite harsh, and I think it was probably just maybe the production of it.
Talks about the emerging.
You probably just thought, all right, this is the big moment, let's go for it. Whereas I think I'd said with Carlo, the previous one, that you could have upped the ending. I think this one went too far the other way, so just to probably have pulled it back a little bit, because it all sounded quite harsh towards the end. But up until there, I was totally in this. I thought this was a great piece that demonstrated what film music should do, whether it's fiction, film, or documentary, and that is to tell the story, to create the emotion, to give tone to the whole piece. So really well done, and very much enjoyed it.
Just one thing, Steph, if I can, just on that thing that we both mentioned about the music being a little bit too big at one point. I mean, 10 out of 10 for really trying to write in that really massively orchestral way. The reason it's difficult with sample libraries is that if you're writing and you're trying to do this huge orchestral palette, it's really important to have a different selection. I'm sure most of you realise this anyway, but it's important to have a varied selection of different sample libraries, because what that does is it mimics the orchestra. If you're using one or two sample libraries and you're basically hammering them, then it will, like Steph says, sound a little bit homogenized. All those chords were gorgeous at the end, but they would have benefited from a broader array of sample libraries and a slightly different mix on the different sections. That would have made it sound more like an orchestra. So I just wanted to come in on that.
Yeah, because it had that thing where the rest of it didn't feel like samples, did it? And it was just that bit, you suddenly go, oh, okay, and that's where it sort of it became that bit more exposed. But yeah, no, it was a great piece, and very well done.
Fantastic. I don't think Ray is with us, so
is he not? Okay, so we just go on to the next one.
Next,
we have Mike Sheehan.
Sheehan.
Is it not? Oh, sorry. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I've got Sylvie down. I beg your pardon. Sorry. Yep. No worries. Yep.
You spoiled it now, Brian. You spoiled it.
Sorry. I got him in the wrong order.
Is Mike
cool.
with?
Is Mike Sheehan in the house? I don't think he is.
Right. Here we go then.
In the heart of the world's most vibrant ecosystems lies a world often overlooked, but no less extraordinary. The insect kingdom. A realm of astonishing diversity. From the beauty of the dragonflies, ancient predators of the sky, their agile flight and keen vision make them formidable hunters, to the relentless determination of ants, masters of teamwork and engineering, each playing a vital role in the survival of their colony. Transformation is a constant theme in the insect world. The caterpillar, a voracious eater, undergoes a miraculous metamorphosis, emerging as a beautiful butterfly. Insects pollinate our crops, decompose organic matter and form the base of countless food chains. Yet these intricate lives are under threat. Honeybees, crucial for pollination, face dangers from pesticides that disrupt their ability to navigate and survive. So next time you step into nature, appreciate the hidden wonders of the insect kingdom. In their tiny forms lies the greatness of nature's design. This is the world of insects, a marvel of nature's ingenuity and an essential part of the Earth's biodiversity.
Again, this was, at the risk of sounding like a long playing record, this was excellent as well. This was fantastic. Mike had put that he was wanting to create something minimal but interesting, and I think that sums up what he'd done actually. A balance between keeping the listener engaged but not too distracted, and that was absolutely, he'd managed to do that. He also managed to use a combination of, amongst other things, piano and nylon guitar. And that is a very hard thing to do. Generally, if you use acoustic guitar and piano together, it can sometimes not end well. But this was absolutely done brilliantly well, and it was produced really well, which meant the guitar and the piano sat together perfectly well together. So a really nice, subtle, minimalist intro, texturally and harmonically. When we hit the title card, I think you go up to this thing where you go, sorry, lost the sound for some reason. Sorry, yeah. When you go from the D to the E, you get to the sliding flute thing where you go from a D to E. Really effective, really, really interesting. Some really nice writing when the piece continues and evolves. The music sits perfectly under the dialogue. Maybe the music is a tiny bit loud in a couple of places, but this is more, I think, because the dialogue is everywhere, and also because the dialogue itself is quite high in the mix in comparison to the sound design. So the dialogue is quite loud in comparison to the bees and the insects, and I think that might be leading people to occasionally just crank the music up a little bit too much. In general, I would say despite that, I think you've dubbed it really well. There are some really nice arpeggiations where you've got this on acoustic guitar. Really nice, that sit behind the dialogue. There's also some really nice Thomas Newman stuff around about 118 when you've got the synths. If I can just get the synths playing this kind of like this A+4 chord. Then you've got the piano on top of that doing something on top of that, and it's just such a great Thomas Newman moment. And you've also captured Thomas Newman because Thomas Newman's got this habit in writing when he plays chords of missing out some of the intervals in a chord. So for example, chords are normally full of root third and fifth. If you miss one of them out, you either miss the third out or the fifth out. That's often how you capture that Thomas Newman sound. People think it's all about textures, but it's actually more about the harmonies that you choose to leave out. So you've captured the essence of that brilliantly well without it being too obvious, frankly. A lot of people try and copy Thomas Newman and they do it too much, but this is a really, really top piece of writing, just extremely good. So yeah, I'll hand over to you, Steph.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Thomas Newman because I noted down the same thing because I wrote a petition actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What it reminded me of, really that's obviously a real compliment because, and it's that I think it was just that kind of Thomas Newman style. It felt just right for this clip actually, and I thought there was real craft with this, as Brian's picked it all out really. But the nylon string guitar just worked so effectively because it just sat with the other ideas, but it still came across as having kind of the ideas being quite simple. So I think that's the real knack here, because I think it's been crafted very carefully. And I wouldn't think it is simple, but the real knack is to make it sound as though it's just there as a backdrop to the piece. I thought it was done exceptionally well, actually. Brian mentioned this, the mix levels I noted down as well. Just it's really occasionally, and I think it, and I put about maybe sort of a gentle fade as well for the end section. I think Brian made a good point on this, is that with voiceovers, it's either the performance of the voiceover is going to change, the way the voice actors uses their voice, so you have to adapt to that, or it could be the volume of their voice, and it's, you know, that they raise it in certain places. So you've got to sort of fit around that, and it might be just there's a mix issue when the voice does stick out a little bit. So just maybe just sort of more in terms of automation. But my thing with this is that really from the get-go, as soon as it started, it was meant to be there, which we've said about other pieces, but also that it just felt in safe hands with this. It was like, this is how documentary film music works. So I really enjoyed it. It was just brought the whole thing to life for me. So great piece, really enjoyed it. So well done to Mike.
Okay, lovely. I don't think Mike's with us either, but that's great. Just how many have we done now, Steph?
So we've got
two more.
Two more.
We've got Sylvie next.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly remind viewers and all of our lovely people here on Zoom who are still with us. Hello. Give us a wave. That we have a current clip in this sort of process, which is an anime clip, Mia's World, and that will close for submissions in 10 days' time. So you've got 10 more days to submit your scores for that. It's something very different from anything that we've had in the library so far, and so we're anticipating some very different submissions, hopefully. Yeah. So without further ado, Stefan, number 5.
Okay, here we go. Right, let's share this. So we've got
Sylvie.
Okay, let me just.
I think Sylvie might be a student at Leeds, actually.
I don't recognise the name.
I think she might be on a different course, but I think she is studying at Leeds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
Right. Okay, here we go.
In the heart of the world's most vibrant ecosystems lies a world often overlooked, but no less extraordinary. The insect kingdom. A realm of astonishing diversity. From the beauty of the dragonflies, ancient predators of the sky, their agile flight and keen vision make them formidable hunters, to the relentless determination of ants, masters of teamwork and engineering, each playing a vital role in the survival of their colony. Transformation is a constant theme in the insect world. The caterpillar, a voracious eater, undergoes a miraculous metamorphosis, emerging as a beautiful butterfly. Insects pollinate our crops, decompose organic matter, and form the base of countless food chains. Yet these intricate lives are under threat. Honeybees, crucial for pollination, face dangers from pesticides that disrupt their ability to navigate and survive. So next time you step into nature, appreciate the hidden wonders of the insect kingdom. In their tiny forms lies the greatness of nature's design. This is the world of insects, a marvel of nature's ingenuity and an essential part of the Earth's biodiversity.
Great. Again, really, really good. I mean, really good. And Sylvia put at the beginning, primary goal was to support the storytelling and narration without interfering with the dialogue. And I'm really glad that so many people have written that, and so many people have been like completely aware of that. And haven't just been obsessed with writing music. They've been obsessed with creating emotion and staying out of the way of the dialogue and just making it sit right. Very expressive intro, very interesting cluster chord at the beginning, which was really trippy actually. It really had a really nice kind of vibe. And then you got this really nice where you use this thing called a sharp 4, which creates a kind of very mysterious kind of vibe. You use that really well on the piano. And it gives it, in this context, it gives it an otherworldly feel. The thing about things like the sharp 4 is they're used a lot in science fiction because they create this feeling of space and stuff like that. But on a nature documentary, that very same interval would give you a feeling, an otherworldly feeling, which I think applies to this. Accompanying plucked strings worked really well as well. They're not easy to do, plucked strings. They often don't end well, but that worked really well. Music in general has a real pastoral feel. It has a real kind of a bit of Beethoven occasionally, just that real countryside feel with the strings and the orchestra in general. 103, we have this lovely line, which I think it goes. I'll just put up an octave, remember. Just this lovely string line that goes. And then you hit this lovely major 9 chord. Really colourful writing, really musical, and it speaks emotionally. Stunning orchestration actually, great control of the orchestral sections. The music is balanced really nice with the narration and works great with the pictures. Again, a little bit because obviously, you know, some people haven't got endless pits of money to basically buy every sample library out there, so sometimes you've got that kind of thing where it's a similar sound. Whereas if you were able to use lots of different sample libraries, you would replicate more of an orchestral feel. But really, really good. Honestly, excellent. Over to you, Steph.
Yeah, similar points. I thought this was great as well. I just I noted down that similar to the others actually, but it sort of gives us a real sense of simplicity. But in reality, I think it was really, really well crafted. A piece of music, and it just it sort of really let the voiceover flow. That's what I really picked out with this. The voiceover takes priority, as I always say, and in this case you let it take priority. So I thought it sat particularly well, and that partly was the writing, but also partly to do with the sort of choice of textures that you used, and then the way that you produced them actually. So I thought the overall sort of vibe of composition and production was really, really, really good. One thing I noted just about the production, it was funny, I was hearing it just when I just streamed it just now, is that things are sort of quite panned, so that you've got some instruments on this side, on the other side, which is right in terms of giving the whole mix some space, but I thought sometimes maybe you pushed them in terms of panning a little bit too far, so we get everything. When that instrument's on there, you might lean over that way. So I know you were trying to create space, but maybe they were just panned a little bit too far. But I thought in general this was really, really well executed with a lot. It felt very in sort of safe hands. I liked at the end section as well when there's space to film. There's no voiceover. thought that the way you carried it on from where the voiceover was, perhaps you could have pushed it a little bit more and sort of the dynamic elements to it, but yeah, it still was very effective. It just had me from the beginning. I thought excellent right from the beginning, as in I just enjoyed watching it, and the music was meant to be there. So great work, very well done.
Cool. Again, I don't think she's with us, so we can move on to the final one. But before we do, I just want to reiterate that everybody who submitted, we haven't been able to cover like in person or live today, will receive written feedback as well. So I will get that sent out within the next few days. So we have one more, Stefan. Everyone's on the edge of their seats to find out who it is.
It is Dan Taggart.
Dan Taggart.
Yeah. Let's run this one.
In the heart of the world's most vibrant ecosystems lies a world often overlooked, but no less extraordinary. The insect kingdom. A realm of astonishing diversity. From the beauty of the dragonflies, ancient predators of the sky, their agile flight and keen vision make them formidable hunters, to the relentless determination of ants, masters of teamwork and engineering, each playing a vital role in the survival of their colony. Transformation is a constant theme in the insect world. The caterpillar, a voracious eater, undergoes a miraculous metamorphosis, emerging as a beautiful butterfly. Insects pollinate our crops, decompose organic matter, and form the base of countless food chains. Yet these intricate lives are under threat. Honeybees, crucial for pollination, face dangers from pesticides that disrupt their ability to navigate and survive. So next time you step into nature, appreciate the hidden wonders of the insect kingdom. In their tiny forms lies the greatness of nature's design. This is the world of insects, a marvel of nature's ingenuity and an essential part of the Earth's biodiversity.
Okay. Again, really good. A good piece throughout. I think Dan said he relied heavily on woodwinds throughout, and the oboe and the flute. And again, that he's pulled that off really well. It is woodwinds are not easy. Strings are generally relatively easy. Woodwind less so, and brass definitely less so. But the woodwind is done really well here. I think it gives the cue a brightness throughout. Really effective use of textures and harmonies with some brilliant changes. You've got one chord at one point, which is this lovely E chord. And then you drop these two notes on the top, these two. Okay. Which gives this really emotional feel. Real kind of playful, happy, positive vibe, and you can do that with music because music is a great kind of creator of emotion. And the wonderful thing about music is because it's wordless, because most people that listen to it aren't aware of the changes. I mean, they don't know what chords are being played, so it communicates purely as an emotional language. But really nice chords, sculpted the music, pictures and dialogue is very good as well. You've not only written some superb music, but it also transports well emotionally and functionally. Don't forget, top of the key in all these is that it has to function. dubbing is done well as well, and you manage to compress quite a lot of complex musical ideas and harmonies and textures, yet still make it not distract from the narrative, sorry, from the narrator. Also, the types of chords you use are so conducive to producing, like I say, this really positive vibe. So extremely well. Over to you, Stefan.
Yeah, very similar points. I noted down that the music had real presence, actually. Right from the get-go, real presence. But this is where the craft comes in. It had presence, but it also sort of sat back and allowed space for the voiceover to do its job. So it was like, again, and I think the way Dan discussed it in his notes, that it was very mindful that there was a real of how he wanted to approach it, and that there was a real vision in place. So again, it often seems like, oh, this is quite straightforward, but it's not. To have that element where the music has got real presence and real sort of dynamic element to it, but yeah, it allows the film to do its job. And so, like I said with others, I think the score was really respectful of the film in its thematic content, what the voice actor was saying, because this is the thing as well with voiceovers. I mentioned this in the previous one about voice actors. That's an art form of its own, so they're delivering and there's what they wanted to deliver it, and the director's working with them on that. And the way that the voiceover works in this has got great tone to that narrator, and the music that allowed that, and it sat with it really really well. I mean, perhaps there could have been sort of further sort of dynamics in certain places with sort of a bit more sort of punctuation, particularly again as it sort of the voiceover begins to sort of come to a kind of climax. But I thought the production and the kind of the way that musical landscape worked was really well done. Again, great to watch and felt very natural. So well done to Dan.
Excellent. Yeah. Sorry, it's my turn, isn't it? Brian, you've gone quite quiet suddenly. I don't know why. Yeah, your microphone might be moved, might have nudged away from you or something. It's like it just seems to have dropped for me anyway. But anyway, thank you, Brian and Stefan. Wonderful. And everybody, again, who's attended and submitted. I'm trying to keep on top of two chats here now. We've got chat in the Zoom and we've got chat on YouTube. So it's keeping me on my toes. So that's good on a Sunday evening. But yeah, no, I really appreciate everything that's happening here, and I appreciate all of you that are in the Zoom audience, as it were. Is there anybody who wants to say anything or ask anything of Brian and Stefan about any of the points that they've made? Put your hand up, perhaps, if there's something you'd like to say. I hope you don't have to. You're not going to. But I hope you've enjoyed it. At least give me a thumb up or a thumb down, you know. Excellent. Excellent. I love a good thumb up. Yeah. So we've got. Give me a thumb up if you're working or you've already submitted the anime clip. If you're either working on it or you're.
There's quite a few there.
Yeah, good. Very different from insects, yeah. And goodness, if you could only see what's coming next. But no, that's great. It's lovely to see you all. Some familiar faces. Laia, who was with us in Skopje. Hello. It's nice to see you. And Micah, who was with us last time, and some others who were with us last time. Paul and so on. So yeah, wonderful. Don't be shy. You know, if you have questions, this is your forum. This is your opportunity. Give me a thumb up if you find it useful listening to other people's.
Sorry, Brian. Can I ask a question?
Great.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like, what do you mean by destructive? Like the music is destructive.
Brian, do you mean
for me?
No, I mean,
it's not me. It's definitely not me.
Or whoever wants to answer the question.
Sometimes, and it happens quite a lot in music. I mean, I still do it now. sometimes it's very easy for it to distract. And what we mean by that is you're listening to the dialogue, you're watching the pictures, and you're listening to music all at the same time. And it's such a delicate ecosystem of sound, all that. And sometimes if one element is too loud, or it's too busy, or it's too colourful, occasionally, momentarily, it can just distract. And what I mean by that is it just distracts the viewer a little bit from the overall film. That's all I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a massive criticism, it's just an observation. I mean, everybody does it. Everybody does it. You can't avoid it. If you're a musically creative person, you will write. Occasionally, you'll just go over the top. Everyone does it. So, yeah.
Just to add a little bit to that is that when a film what a director wants is just for the films to work on the audience. So if audiences become aware of certain things, then there's potentially a problem. So this goes for any part like editing. So if you start to become aware of the edits, you think, oh, hang on a minute. I mean, sometimes directors do it on purpose, of course, but the original sort of the way it was sort of film storytelling developed was that all that stuff was invisible and it just works as one thing. So I think what you don't want to do is when audiences to feel like they're being told how to feel. And I think that's where it can go wrong with music, is that they can go, oh, well, actually, I need to feel sad now. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's not that obvious, but do you know what I mean? I think that's where it can be potentially distracting.
Actually, while we're at it, I had a question for Brian about something.
Oh, I think David's also.
Oh, good. David, go ahead.
Are you finally worked up the courage? How important is production when the panelists are considering the finalists?
Well, basically, I mean, when we consider these submissions, we always do so on the basis that people are using sample libraries, for one thing. People can't afford to go and use a full orchestra, and we totally get that. So I bear that in mind an awful lot. I would never criticise purely on production grounds. If we mention production, it's normally, like I think today I said it a few times, where often when people are using sample libraries, sometimes it's good to use a bigger array of them. But production is an important thing, because production is what makes it dubbed right, it's what makes it sit right, and it's what makes all the instruments sound like they're supposed to sound. So if you're using an oboe and a clarinet, ultimately it'll be the writing of that instrument, but it'll also be the production that makes it work. So it is an important thing, but it's not the be all and end all by any means. And we do bear in mind a lot that people are using sample libraries at the end of the day. So we do bear that in mind. You know.
Yeah.
We don't expect you don't expect a full orchestra. We don't expect it to sound necessarily as good as a full orchestra, just as good as it can be. As good as it can be for whatever equipment you're using.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we talk a lot about this with our students, Brian and I. One of the things is that the way that technology is these days, I think when you're sending things out to sort of potential directors, producers, whatever, and the feedback we'll give is to get you in the mindset of thinking of try and get it as good as possible, because sometimes when I think these days, if you submitted something to someone and say, oh, but wouldn't it sound amazing when it's been recorded with an orchestra, quite often people haven't got that kind of mindset now. They just want to hear it kind of almost ready to go. I mean, obviously we're very mindful that you haven't got the resources, but to get it as good as possible, because to ask people to imagine things is a lot more difficult, I think, than it used to be, because technology has sort of advanced. So that's the other bit to add to that.
I mean, like Steph said, we get students all the time, and often they can say to me things like, "Oh, the French horns aren't very good," and my answer to that would be, if the French horns aren't very good, don't use them. You know, right within your means, and right to the sound palette that you've got, just in the same way that Beethoven did. And that Mozart did. You write to what you've got available to you. You don't write to what you would theoretically like it to sound like. And all the writing tonight was done in that way. I mean, there were no instruments used which were inappropriate or badly placed or anything like that. It was really a really good selection.
Does that help, David?
Yes, it does. I find
Okay.
for my stuff, mixing is my weakest point, and that's something I have decent libraries.
Yeah.
I don't have the mixing skills yet, but these contests are great to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Mixing is a difficult one for me as well. Whenever I've done TV stuff in the past, apart from when I was first starting out, I used to get a colleague to come and mix it in the end of the day, because it's a separate skill. And if you ever end up doing TV at documentaries or whatever, or especially if you get some good gigs in, you'll find you'll be given people that can help you in that way. So I don't think anybody expects composers to be fabulous mixers. I think it is a difficult thing, and it's something completely different to composing, and it's not something that I was ever very good at, to be honest with you. But I take your point completely. Yeah.
Can I kind of second that?
Yeah, of course.
Some of the music's there. I couldn't really hear the music because it was so low in the mix. So, when submitting, is it better to be too low or too high? Assuming I don't have the ability to get it right. Where should I position it?
Sorry, go on, Steph. Yeah.
So it's just because Brian and I come from different sort of areas on this. But I think possibly I would sort of. So to me, it's like, again, just thinking about what I mentioned before. Say you're saying this to a show reel to someone, like a director. If you had it slightly, like you said about the ones you heard tonight, because a lot of the ones tonight, I thought the mixes were really good actually, and they sat really well. And you pointed out that you couldn't hear them. I think for a director, they go, great. This is, do you know what I mean? But if a director, then another way of doing this is that if a director isn't sure, you can, or you want to sort of say, well, I'll tell you what, I can send you the track on its own separate, and you can hear the music on its own. But when submitting it to the film, I think, for me personally, the film takes priority.
Brian, could I ask a question of you, if that's all right? When the members have got get the products and get the films, do they get can they mix the narrator down?
Yeah.
Oh, they can, right? Well, that's a really important thing, because what I found tonight, and I found it with this same narrator quite a lot. It's not his fault, but it's just that he is loud in connection with the insect sounds, and so people I think nearly all the problems we had with any mixing were probably revolving around that. So when you're doing it in future, if you feel free to mix this guy down, don't be afraid to mix this guy down in the mix, because he is a bit loud, and if that makes it easier for you, and also obviously do the usual thing of ducking when you have to, but yeah. I mean that's some good. He does have a lovely voice, though. Yeah, someone's just said he's got a lovely voice. He's got a really nice voice. It's a typical BBC voice, but it's just, it was mixed too high, not to the music, but to the insects. And if the composer's trying to write to the insects, they'll want to pull the guy down a little bit. So that's great, Brian. If you give them that facility, I didn't realise you did, but that's great. Yeah.
Sorry, Brian. Just to go back to Matt. So again, for me, I would just say sometimes if a director wants, you got the opportunity to send something to a director. If you mix it with the film in mind, and that means that your music's a bit lower in the mix, I think the directors are happy with that. I'll be honest. I think if you start overpowering stuff, I don't know, everyone's different, obviously, but it might potentially put them off.
Yeah. I mean, I think Steph's absolutely right, and generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, always err on the side of caution. The only time when that gets a bit too much is when I've known composers at college when they've mixed the music so low in the mix that it just sounds like someone left a radio in the next room, and you just can't appreciate it at all. So you've got to be able to appreciate the music, and if you've reached a point where whatever you do the music sounds too loud, then possibly you need to write it differently. Often it's not about volume, it's about how you voice the chords. If this guy's banging on the narrator, and you've written some really thick chords, then maybe you can put some chords the mid to the top to get out the same range as him. And someone just mentioned Batman and Bane in the comment, and that reminds me of when I spoke to Hans Zimmer years ago, and when he did the Batman films, and he was talking about the sibilance in the voice. Who was the actor, Steph, who played Batman? Who was the guy?
Yeah, what's his name?
I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten his name.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, and he's got a very distinctive voice, and he was saying, he was forever having to get out of the way of his voice, and that's why he wrote a lot of low subby stuff, because it's the only area that he could occupy which lived naturally with Christian Bale's voice. So it is a really particular area of the whole thing, and I think people generally did a great job with that, and it wasn't easy, like I say, with this guy being quite a full-on voice,
Yeah, and as I said before, if you wanted to, another way then of doing this is just having your separate track. You could send a separate track of just your music to the director and say, well, this is what it's like on its own, if you want to hear it. But just always be mindful that a director is interested in telling the film story, or creating the narrative, rather than, I mean, it's really difficult. We have this with our students, because for you guys, that's what you do. Music takes priority, but for the filmmaker, it's something different.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. I think that we need to wrap things up. I always feel bad saying that, but we do. And we have
some good debates.
Yeah, for sure. And we could even do one of these where we're not doing reviews, we're just opening up, inviting people for a discussion. If people are interested, thumb up or thumb down?
Yeah, if people want to come to us with a bunch of questions about...
Yeah, we should definitely do.
Darren's got flying thumbs there.
That'd be great.
We could do one of those. Yeah, that'd be cool. But
should we hand it over to you, Brian, about the overall choice? Yeah.
No. Do you want to?
No, we'll hand it over to you.
You do it this time, because you guys chose it, so I'm not being held responsible
Steph,
for
it.
I'm
going to hand it over to you, Steph. I'm going to give you the honours.
All right, I'll do it. It was very difficult, because I think all 6 that we showed tonight actually were really, really great, and I mean, a lot of the submissions were great, so it was really difficult to pick out the 6 to show tonight, but all really good. So it was, and I know.
Stop beating around the bush. Come on.
Yeah, it was.
Come on.
It was. We decided to go with Mike Sheehan, because I think there was so many great. One thing I forgot to mention with Mike's that I didn't mention was afterwards, he did a little bit of sort of punctuation just before the titles start. He dropped the music there, and then it went into the titles, and I thought, it was great. Yeah. But well done to Mike.
Yeah, well done, Mike.
It's often what you'll find the difference between some of the stuff that's really good and some of the stuff that's brilliant won't be music. It'll, like Stefan said, it's architecture. It's where you decide to do it. It's the fact that at that moment you just pull down, and for that second we've just got nothing. And it's just those kind of things which are. And also, when me and Steph talked about who was going to win, it was so close between she and Mike. Is it Mike? She and also Kate. We sat there for 5 minutes and just we couldn't see daylight between them. And in the end, I just said to Steph, we've got to pick one. So
maybe that makes her feel more gutted.
No, it was really difficult. But well done to everyone. I think Absolutely. This is great. It's a great, not just getting the recording, but just getting the experience of doing this is what I think is important. Yeah,
absolutely. Well done, Kate, for getting so close.
Split the prize.
Split the prize.
We can give you one string, one violin string. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. So I'm going to quickly do the prize draw for Fracture Sound's sample library. So just bear with us. Those of you that are on Zoom, you won't be able to see this unless you actually have the YouTube live stream open as well on your screen. So I'm going to do that now, if I can bloody figure it out. There we go. Okay, so there's all the lovely names. I just need to spin that wheel. Let's hope it's not Mike Sheehan. Maybe it'll be Kate. Dave McDonald. Congratulations, Dave. I recognise that name. We've had some. Oh yeah, we've had some back and forth because he's had some email issues. That's right. So yeah, congratulations, Dave. I hope you're seeing this at some point. It will stay on the YouTube channel, and we will sort that out for you. But basically, you'll have a choice from the sample libraries on the Fracture Sounds website if you want to go and have a look. Anything except for the bundles, basically. So knock yourself out, fill your boots, as they say.
I think someone's got the hand up, Brian. I don't know if that's a legacy.
Another hand up.
Oh no, I think it's a legacy hand actually. Yeah.
It's a legacy hand. Getting technical on me now.
I know all these stupid college terminology.
Any final points from our lovely viewers? I feel sad to say goodbye.
Yes.
All right. Well, have a lovely Sunday.
So hang on, Sally.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd just like to say thanks ever so much, guys, for all this feedback. It's really, really useful, and for you to give up your Sunday evenings is just brilliant. So thank you very much. Much appreciated.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Sally, and thanks everybody who's given up time actually, and for being part of this and making it all so wonderful. All right, well, have a great Sunday evening or day, whatever time zone you're in, and bank holiday for those of you that have bank holidays. And just a reminder to anybody that's out on the West Coast, we'll be coming out there towards the end of the month. There's some information on the website. But we look forward to the next live stream, which we don't have a date for at the moment. So just watch this space, and we'll announce that soon. So thanks, everyone. Take care.
Right, thank
Bye
you.